All right.
Perfect.
So,
Anyways, yes.
do you want to pick that up? Whatever it was?
In no way, shape, or form. No.
All right. Whatever it is, it's now on the floor forever.
Honestly, that's how it goes with pretty much everything that I ever pick up. I'm always just like, wow, really sucks. Grabbing.
Yep.
Just go back, sit back down.
That's right. Looks like your new home is about 5 feet down, my friend. Have a nice life.
Yeah.
Hopefully
They're just gonna have to wait until I sweep sometime in the week for real.
And who knows what that was? I don't even know. You're not telling me. So
I'm never gonna tell you.
Our version of the glowing briefcase in Pulp Fiction. That's what it is. We're already creating mythology here. Welcome to another episode of Dirty Work. Today, we are getting to know a filmmaker named Sara-Claudia Ligondé. Sarah, say hello.
Hi.
I love your hi. You say that the same way. You've said it the same way before. Love it. Love the way you say hi. Hi. I know. It's like you never know what you're going to get with Sarah. So this is going to be a very, very fun interview. That's right. So here we are. We're talking. We're on Dirty Work. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me, just to start things off. So this interview that I'm doing with you is more in your capacity as a filmmaker. I always found it fascinating that you made movies, and I always wanted to sort of talk to you more in depth about about your motivations, your process. Nothing incredibly granular. We'll go whatever details you like. But why don't we start off with something a little bit general, and why don't we go back to like the first moment that you wanted to make films? So what was your aha moment? What made you realize that you want to make movies?
Well, first of all, hold on. I just want to tell you, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. So happy.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to have you.
And we're on Dirty Duty.
Dirty Duty. All right. You just changed the name of my show in the first 2 minutes. You are a marvel.
How did I change the name of your show?
Because Dirty Duty does not sound like... Dirty Duty basically sounds like that if I put it out like that, people are going to meme the hell out of me, and I will never live it down.
Hey, it's always your editing thumb, so you'll be able to switch that up if you feel like it. But I like it, Dirty Duty. It was cute.
It is. It's adorable. It's adorable.
It's cute. Please. It's cute. Like if you're like innocent and think good things, good thoughts. In general, I think. So when it comes to your question, to answer your question, when did I realize that I wanted to make movies? My aha moment. I feel like I never really had it. It was like a process necessarily. Like it was just a process. And then I had the opportunity to make my own film. And then I was like, okay, this is a once in a lifetime chance. I can really do this. I'm ready. And if I'm not, there's mentorship that's available within the program. So basically to give a little background to people, and to you actually, like you've already heard this anyway. But anyways, I did the Being Black in a Canada program through Montreal. We had Fabienne Collat with the National Institute of Image and Sound get together and give us the opportunity, 5 different filmmakers from 3 different cities in Canada, Montreal, Toronto, and Halifax, to make a short documentary of about between 8 and 10 minutes about a subject that we all can relate on, which was being Black in Canada, in Montreal specifically for my city. So having this opportunity, I was like, okay, I need to do this. Like formerly I was in philosophy at Concordia, and then I eventually was like, I want to do philosophy of film, but I never made a film. So I was like, let me go make a film. So then it just made sense to get that opportunity right away and apply, and I got in. That was great. So with that, I got into film school. But before this, I hadn't yet genuinely sat down to think about actually making a movie of my own. That process hadn't necessarily been hit. I was watching a lot of media. I was consuming a lot of filmmaking stuff, like, the cinema, like different theorems about filmmaking, but I hadn't thought about really making one seriously. And then when that opportunity came with mentorship and help, I was like, okay, I'm going to be well surrounded. Like, I believe in this, and I believe in me right now, so I'll be able to do it. But the most aha moment that I've ever had in my life was when I realized that a lot of the ways that people see the Black population in general, like the Black community. I don't know, but I don't want to say community because like we're really like, anyways. There's so many other, I guess, like there's diasporas or whatever. But like I have my whole theory about that. We can like that's my whole. Anyways, like that's literally like a whole anthropological, sociological issue, and that like I don't even want to get into that. But like, anyways, for the Black community, just in the shorthand for the Black community,
for the sake of brevity,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same race, like whoever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stereotypes associated to it and them, and I think it's not okay. So I also realized that TV was perpetuating like the media in general, like filmmaking specifically, was perpetuating a lot of those things. And weirdly enough, I realized that a film, like I discovered, D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, and boom, I was like, oh, this is it. Like this is, and people kind of want to give credence to the film. I feel like that's the thing that's like the racist, like gaslighting. I feel like people want to turn around and say like D.W. Griffith's film is important not only because of its like racial things going on there and its critiques, but specifically because if cinematically it's a good film, it is not a good film.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not a good film. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Any kind of stuff that peddles that stuff, it's not a good film. It's worth watching for the historical meaning, but it's not worth to like bring forth and be like, they use different camera techniques in succession and it was one of them. No, I don't care about the technology that you use. I don't care. I feel like that's what they're using to justify keeping it in a contemporary kind of lexicon, when in reality they don't listen. Good and damn well that those things were a part of that. Like, no, like don't try to start giving it artistic credence when in reality those techniques were used before. Like, it's not. They, D.W. Griffith was not. I don't want to slam the guy. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to come after me about an estate or something like that. Listen, I can't help you. You can't help me. You have not helped me. Let's be real. You have hindered me quite a freaking bit. So, allegedly. So don't turn around and try to be like, oh, this girl's, no. I will not speak ill of the dead or anything of the sort.
Right.
I love my life. Amen. But you will not turn around and tell me that movie had any kind of, innovativeness or no, I don't see it. I really don't. I don't want to hear it.
So we can safely say that if anyone from the D.W. Griffith, society wants to come at us, come fight me. Come fight us.
That's you. That's you. Okay, that's not me. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not touching anyone. I'm not talking to anybody. You're not serving me anything. I do not know you. Take care. Like you're not. No, you haven't created so many terrible. I guess like in my opinion, so many terrible stereotypes and kind of put them from text to screen and then turn around and tell me that I can't criticize it. That's absolutely preposterous. And then want to say, hey, we use this camera and this lens with this color. I don't want to hear it.
Right. No, and look, I'm with you on that. I definitely am with you on that. I share the opinion, and I guess if I were to encapsulate your answer into sort of a lane, basically you saw something that gave you a strong reaction, and your reaction to it was to fight fire with fire and fight film with film.
It's not just that. It's the fact that I can't let people speak for me. Like, I have a mouth. Like, you know what I mean? And it works real good. Yeah, that's what she said, and that's what I said. It works real good. So if you have any questions, comments, insults, I'm right here. This whole idea that, I'm saying, like, and that's the thing, these stereotypes didn't just start with that film. It's one of the contemporary examples of them, but keep in mind that a lot of, started. I feel like it was propagated through a lot of films of the sort, and for example, with Tintin, I enjoy the comic books and stuff like that, but their caricatures and depictions of Black people, that's not cute, and that's the thing, is that at a certain point, I put myself in the shoes. One thing that a lot of people cannot do of other races for Black people, for example, is put themselves in our shoes, because they don't even ever want to hurt themselves by being like, I'm never going to be Black. You know what I mean? They never even want to think about, they don't want to study that fact. You know what I mean? That there's a possibility that you could have come out in a different world, looking differently. People don't want to take that time. But I took that time of my own day to tell myself, listen, if I'm in Asia, and the only way that I could see a Black person is through those negative depictions through Tintin and those, and, I'm saying one of them, but Asterix and Obelix, like whatever, you name it. You like those Dr. Seuss, like anyway, you can name them, and we would make a freaking list, and you would be an Asian person looking at these people and those caricatures. You would tell yourself, well, is this really how they are? So when you meet them in real life, that's the thing that I can't agree with. That personally, I can't, like, in my heart of hearts, I can't be like, I wouldn't be scared of them. You know what I mean? Like, I would still let people be people. Yeah. Because that's what it is for me. It's like, how are you going to turn around and be like, do you think this is who they are? And then you meet them and you kind of egg them on into being the aggressive, the angry, the Jezebel, or whatever, all these other things, the magical Negro. You want that friend, but then you want them to change your life. Whole time you've never really changed your life. So do you value yourself? Don't question me. You know what I mean? I don't get it. I really, really don't. So that's where my suspension of empathy and disbelief or belief in their theories like started changing, because I'm like, this makes no sense. You're exposed to one kind of person through that, those caricatures, but then you meet them and you think that they're going to act this way. And it's really in real life for black people specifically. And I'm going to keep saying black people. The BIPOC stuff, y'all know. I'm not going to have any person that, that doesn't look like me or, in any way, shape, or form is black talk to me about being BIPOC in any way. Like, I'm not BIPOC. Like, I'm black. You know what I mean? I'm black. I'm nothing else. Like, I don't want to be in that, because guess what? Some people are racist too. Like, you're not going to put me in the, BIPOC umbrella. I'm not BIPOC. I'm black. Like, I'm not black indigenous. No, I'm black. Like, I'm the B, period. I'm black.
And beautiful. And beautiful. We'll say that as well.
I'm black and beautiful. And even if I wasn't, like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. It's like, as a human being, I am me, So anyway, all this to say that, like, if you put yourself in the position of the people that are witnessing those stereotypes, and you're like, well, I understand why they think that way, but I still wouldn't treat them that way. In real life, I would let people be people. And that's the thing. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
I am often on AITA Reddit, okay? I love me some good Reddit forums, okay? Like the good ones, because Reddit is also like its own cesspool in Jesus' name. There's a lot of stuff on there. But if you're going in the right communities, if you're really just interested in your stuff and you're like, okay, let me isolate, my box. Like, let me not propagate my energy a little too far. You stay in AITA and you read those posts, and there was a guy that was like, he went to dinner with his girlfriend, his black guy, white girlfriend. And it fully might be a bad story. It fully might be a Wattpad AITA test just to rile people up for Thanksgiving or whatever. But I don't, I care. I take these things with a grain of salt, but I will relegate that story again where, this guy went to Thanksgiving dinner with his white girlfriend, and he went to that guy's house, and they were kind of hoping to have the parents. They went to the white, girlfriend's house, and they were kind of hoping that the white dad wouldn't be there. They were like, "Oh, are you going to be there for Thanksgiving dinner?" He's like, "No." They end up saying yes. So it kind of establishes that they already knew that he was racist. You know what I mean? And then when the guy, like the white guy, actually does go into his house, like he actually does show up for Thanksgiving dinner, surprisingly, I guess, or whatever. They're like, oh shit, and then he starts the white father, I guess, starts saying really, really mean things about black people at the guy. The guy is the calmest person ever. He never even answers. Do you know what happens after that? The family starts blaming the black guy for being too calm. They start trying to egg him on into having a negative reaction. So it's really damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's why racism is illogical. Whatever you do,
absolutely
you just need to go with people's idea of you, and that's the thing.
Well,
the stereotypes are one of the first things that create this idea of different races in other racist people's mind, I guess.
Absolutely,
so, I had to eradicate that.
It's an insistent ignorance. It's almost like, I have this opinion, nothing's going to change this opinion. So any reaction that I have that's either positive, negative, neutral, whatever, is either going to be a proof of that or basically a lie that doesn't prove that I now have to call it a lie. So absolutely.
That's really what it is.
And I thank you for sharing that, because I think especially when I asked you what your aha moment was, and you started speaking very passionately about a lot of the things that you feel, especially in terms of race. So I very much appreciate you sharing that with me. Um, maybe the way that I can sort of like take this conversation and focus it into another question is you've made a short film. If anything, it sort of speaks to your point of view, what you're saying now, where you are speaking in a representative voice. So maybe speak a little bit about the short film you did that's called Rest is a Right.
And so that idea of the strong Black woman connects as well to that, because the idea is that we are supposed to care for everyone, including ourselves, but it's not really important if ourselves are cared for, right? As long as everyone and the world is taken care of, how I can challenge and disrupt that, but also how I uphold and sustain that, by continuing to give and give and give and give and give.
Maybe talk a little bit about about how the seeds that were planted for it and kind of what it meant to you to make it and how the process was to make it.
Yeah, well, the seed specifically was kind of the death of the ultimate death of my father, and I was very, very sad and grieving. And during that time, I was having a hard time kind of grappling with my own emotions for once, I guess. I'm always a very excitable person. I'm very expressive.
No. So, sorry, I had to throw that on there. I had to throw that.
Stop playing with me. No.
It's with peace and love in my heart.
I've never been like this before. This
is the first time. I'm bringing it out of you. It's
well, you kind of are. That's the thing too. I have to be comfortable, and we've had our own conversations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're friends.
We're used to it. Yeah.
I don't want to bury the lead. We're friends.
Yeah, we all together.
Yeah. All right, Rest is a Right.
So,
I'm just trying to keep you on the bullet point here. So you made Rest is a Right. So yes,
Rest is a Right. My father passed away quite before, a year before that. Actually, he passed away in October 2017, and I had the opportunity to apply for the program for being Black in Canada, in Montreal specifically, around August 2018. So about almost a year later, and then we started in October 2018 to write the process, anything, scenario and setting up the storyline for the film. And I was having a hard time grappling with my own feelings, despite me being expressive and stuff like that. Even even before that, I never necessarily had any kind of issues to, get work through these kind of emotions. But when that happened, I was having a harder time with grief, and I didn't really know how to manage the expectations of other people towards me, and the fact that I also needed to take care of me. And I was like, okay, let me just rest from all of this hullabaloo. Let me rest from this full-time job. Let me rest from full-time school. Let me rest from full-time friendship or relationship. I was like, let me go back inside myself and see how I need to recalibrate. Right. And I was having a hard time doing that because people were it's weird. When you have boundaries, but then people want to see how far they can go to, go over them. And I'm like, okay, well, I love you, but I love me too. You know what I mean? And if I would love you, I would let you take that time if you'd ask me. I check in once in a while, but I would let you have that time. So I don't know why you're not letting me have that time.
Absolutely.
And I felt like it was kind of an encroaching on my spiritual and psychological well-being. I was like, I just need a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Even a couple of months, just chill though. And the opposite actually, a couple of months and maybe even a couple of weeks, just give me some time. And so since I hadn't really been good at expressing my boundaries by that time, I didn't know how to grapple with having, that. So I thought that maybe writing a film about the idea of the angry Black woman or the stereotypical, mammy taking care of other people's emotions. Or burdens of any kind, really. And there's no really example. You already see it. You see the way that people, if Khalid Hussein, was it him? Anyways, one of the writer of what is it again? What is the thing that flies in the wind?
The kite?
the kite runner, yeah, the
Yeah,
kite
okay.
runner, sorry, the kite runner had a quote that I thought was really, really important, and I think it's in that book, but I think it's the same author from another book or whatever. He said, when like a compass that always points north, a man's blaming finger will always point to the woman, you know. And I felt like that was also like a racial thing, because I suffer, I feel the impacts of misogyny, and I feel the impacts of racism. And so when that combines, it's misogyny
Right.
noir,
Well,
so when that happens, it's like, okay, like, you hate this, bleep that out, you hate this, but you hate bitches too, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, what's going on, like, I don't identify with any of those two terms, but this is how you would describe me. And I'm like, okay, I don't like that. So I was like, okay, I need to kind of go into that Bible of stereotypical lexicon or language, to then kind of open it up and talk about how I need to take time for myself. I can't take
yeah.
care of other people, and I can't move forward if I'm constantly going backwards to things that
Yeah.
aren't mine. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that film was really important for me, to like, as a motivator, to be more human, and more in touch, and realer. Actually, it really made me realer, I think. And when, yeah, so basically the film was about Shanice Nicole, who is a great educator, and a racism and sexism advisor at McGill. I don't know if she changed her job in between that time, or if she got anything even better, like get a promotion within that same department. I want her to let us know everything good that happens in her world, and I want her to let us know, to teach us how to be better humans, and to have a better work-life balance. And
Right.
I feel like that was such a great symbol, or not a Black woman as a symbol, but I thought that her mindset and her work were such a good testament to how you can be both. You can be both great, and both caring, and both independent. And I felt like that was really important to showcase that. And
Yeah.
Shanice is really a great person for that.
And so Shanice became the subject essentially of your documentary, Rest is a Right.
Exactly, yeah. And I basically, peered inside her work-life balance, and her relationship with her then engaged. I don't know if they were engaged, but whatever. Her then boyfriend, I guess, or then husband.
Fiance or
Fiance,
husband.
yeah.
Partner. You can call it partner. It's a lot.
Partner. Yeah, what is this? Like, I'm finding so many words, and I'm like, no, it's partner. With her then partner, and I know that they're still together, most probably. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about her, and the way that she was supported as well. I felt like it also was a good time to show other people that, hey, I maybe also need support. Like, I may also need support. It's not just about having the time management and the waking up at a certain time and drinking this many cups of water and fruit.
Sure.
It was also about
Thanks for the
having other
reminder.
people around you. Yes, it was also about having people around you that really care and that support you in those endeavors, and in getting better, and being better.
Absolutely. And obviously that was a subject matter that was important to you. And since, you've been kind of like fairly actively engaged in becoming a filmmaker and aspiring and working on being a filmmaker for about 5 years. Is that right?
I'd like to say that, yeah, but like, I feel like no, because I kind of took a break, like 2021, like from maybe like September 2021 to September 2022. I took a break. I only
Yep.
really started back again recently, wanting to finish my
Honestly,
previous projects. And
I think I can relate. I think I can relate to
you
that
know,
to an extent. I think that especially for the last 3 years, a sense of lockdown fatigue kind of sets in for certain people, combined with, like all of the mental health issues that I think a lot of people ended up uncovering, spending so much time isolated from other people. But also, it's because even for myself, just speaking on this subject, like a lot of people, you sort of start building up aspirations when you're just by yourself. I tried about a year ago to start this channel in earnest, but I didn't have focus, and a lot of that was also built on this complacency sort of like thing that you're home, you're alone. The only pressure that you would usually face is a small amount of life pressures that you have, like go to work and wake up and that kind of stuff. Like, so very low grade. But then you find yourself slipping into these sort of traps of comfort. And much like you, I think I came into this new year, and I said, okay, well, I'm kind of bored with myself, and I kind of need to jump into what I want to do and not just what I'm doing, So all that to say, so you've taken breaks, and I mean, obviously justifiable, because rest is right. Marketing. But you have been sort of working on and developing another short that you've been sort of working on chopping up and stuff like that. Is how much, I don't know how much you can say about the new project, but maybe speak on that a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I did a Kino Montreal. So Kino is basically this national thing, this worldwide thing where you have the opportunity to make a short film between like 5 and 10 minutes, depending on your liking.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically, you make that film, and they help you have the equipment, they help you find the actors, they help you, finding a team as well, because other people want to work on your films. So you're either you apply and you're selected as a filmmaker, and then you make the film and you have some help with that. So I felt like that was also a good opportunity to start mentorship and start, making, contacts and networking in the film industry. And that did help me quite a bit. So yeah, like having this opportunity with Kino Montreal was absolutely amazing and awesome, and I would redo it in a heartbeat. The short film that I worked on is called La Donne, which I still don't know what will be the English title. I really don't know. I'm still like pulling hair from that.
Well, La Donne is the gift, right?
No, that's the thing. It changed. Like it's like in French, it's like. No, and like the translation, when you're like ça change la donne, it changes the odds, it changes the result, it changes
okay, all right. So the odds. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, that's a sort of like
so I'm like, it would be the gift, but like it's like no, it would be like a wager,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wager, wager. I never know how to say
wager. It's wager.
Wager. That's what it's wager. See, goal. I'm good. Okay,
or bet, or me en français.
Yeah, bet. Yeah, I feel like the result would be good.
Je t'avoue qu'il y a une chose qui me manque. Non, mais si je le vois, là, j'y crache dessus.
Hey, ça va arriver, t'inquiète.
The result, because this is a result of your actions. You know what I mean?
All right.
And the film is basically, well, not you. Like, that sounded really threatening all of a sudden. I'm like, that's a result of your actions. Like a mafia.
I know. I felt a little chill up my spine right there.
Right? Like, shout out to Scorsese, though, because I got it in me. I got that dog in me, you feel me?
Damn.
Shout out DMX, too. But, like, who let the dogs out?
I like the random shout outs, like just shout out Scorsese, shout out DMX. Shout out Richard Simmons, and shout out I don't know, Timothy Leary. I don't know, what else are we going to shout out?
Shout out Kurt Cobain and Khalees. I've been watching Khalees's performance of Nirvana's, I don't know, it smells like Teen Spirit. That's what it is.
Yeah. I've seen that
performance of that, and it's like, it rocks. And I also have like this playlist of like the Linkin Park Jay-Z. So shout out to Linkin Park Jay-Z, period. Shout out to Jay-Z, period. That's period.
That's on period.
Stuff. That's on period too. Like, shout out to a lot of people. Shout out to me too. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of us. But yeah, I feel like the movie is a result of your actions, and the film La Donne, which would possibly be the gift or the result, is a young Black woman is in a relationship with a young white man, and when they break up, and she breaks up with him basically, when she breaks up with him, they were working in crypto, they were working in Forex and stuff like that, and he kind of drains the accounts, and the girl is like, hold on. You can't just take my money. You can't just take my furniture. You can't just take everything, and I got you into this line of work. So her and her best friend, they go and mug him, and you feel me?
Yep. I definitely feel you. So basically get
revenge.
There's a result. There is a result.
There is a result. There is a result to your actions, and it's on both fronts. You know what I mean? It's on both fronts. It's both on the guys, thievery, and the girls' history as well. But that's something you'll discover in the film.
Yep. Yeah, and I've seen little bits of it, and it's really beautifully shot. I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you, my
really
DP, Laura Lubin. Shout out to her too. Amazing Black female DP.
Nice. There's going to be multiple shout outs that we're going to have to cash in on at the end of this interview. I don't know how you cash in on a shout out, but we'll figure it out. So that one's in the can, or in what's the post-production term that you like using, the colloquial term, like that movie, is it in the can, like now that it's completely shot and now in post-prod?
In the can? Why would I put my movie in a can?
Well,
I mean, you can't eat it.
Well, film.
Would I compare my film to Chef Boyardee or Chunky?
No. Well, okay. Film, like actual acetate film, is usually, it was like in those metal canisters, right? Like the flat cans. Yeah. So I think that's why they said in the can. But
yeah, well, I'm not.
Obviously, you're from the new school, right? So you're not using that old lingo.
Fun fact. My first semester in film school in September 2019 was the first time the department was not going to be allowing or like basically asking or requiring that our first short film was on a pellicule. Like that was the first time, like the first years
that it could be digital only and it would be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice because film costs a lot of money. I know that.
I went to film school just to work on pellicule. What are you telling me now? You want to work digital? I know back in the day. That's the thing, though. I knew some people from in film that were so mad because they couldn't use VHS. They couldn't they were really, really kind of requiring you to really work on that. So I was
Well, I think
I'm happy to have the option for both.
Well, I mean, yes, having the option for both is kind of the key thing. Like with any art, with any medium, whether it be music or film or whatever. I mean, the supplies that you use sometimes are a help. They help to define kind of what your parameters are for that project, right? Like, I mean, it's like a band recording to tape, or if you record it to digital only, And some people like to do kind of a combo of both, and it's the same thing for film. There's actually a really great documentary that Keanu Reeves did a series of interviews with different directors, and it's called Side by Side. And over the course of many years, he sits down with a lot of these directors that he either has met or worked with, and they give you their definitive opinion on whether or not they use film, whether they have embraced digital, what their feelings are on both, what the impacts are on each to the film industry, to the screening of movies, that kind of thing. It's a very, very fantastic documentary. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
I love that you mentioned celebrity narrating or kind of being a part of a documentary, because I recently saw this clip of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. There's also this running gag that anything you put together that starts with a B and a C for his two names is you know what I mean? People are like bumblebutt cucumber. You know what I mean? It's and they're and it's a running gag. It's so funny, and people there's this Benedict Cumberbatch name generator. It's crazy. It's so funny.
Oh, that's
great. I'll send it. I'll send all of that to you. I'll send this beautiful Reddit thread to you.
And hey, shout out to bumblebutt cucumber while we're at it.
Yeah. Shout out to him. He's great. Shout out to him. He's great. So yeah, there's this clip of him narrating a documentary about penguins, and every single time he says penguins, he's not saying it correctly.
Oh wow, that's
and nobody
fantastic.
Ever told him. No one ever told that guy.
What does he say? Does he say penguins or what?
Yeah, the penguins. Penguins. And with his accent, his British accent, so it's even funnier for.
And he has sort of almost like a baritone or like a very dulcet tone to his voice.
He makes me think of the singer of the National. Shout out to the National, by the way.
Oh yeah. Shout out to
Eric,
what's his face there. Yeah, whatever
Eric,
his name is.
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You have that one in post prod now. You have La Done in post prod now.
Yes, it's been as post prod for like a year almost. Like I'm tired. I had to take up a couple of other projects to like refresh my stuff because in between, because my portfolio only had had a few pictures from 2018 to 2020, and then after the pandemic, I finally got my swing back, and in 2022 I was like, oh, this is kind of old stuff. I know that my eye is even better now after all that time.
Yeah, practice.
Working. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Shout out Alan Iverson.
Yeah,
Practice.
shout out Alan Iverson. Practice. We talking about practice now.
Yeah, practice. Exactly. So I was like, well, I practiced and I really wanted to showcase that new part of my artistic, evolvement, I guess. So I took up some projects and then that took a little bit longer. So it's taking me longer. I feel like even my body language shows like, I feel like a little bit like heavy because it's a really passion project for me. And that's the thing, It's a passion project. So some days it's very, very hard to keep going because, I'm just like, I have to work, I don't know how to say this. It's very weird. Being a filmmaker is like really, especially when you're doing things on your own, like you really have to have that drive often, and you can't just always feed off of coffee because you'll get dehydrated. You can't always feed off of any other stimulant because, you really have to do it from your gut. And
shout out to hydration.
Exactly. Shout out to that too. Shout out to Blue Gold water. Amen.
Reflect on you. Moonlight between us again, another 3 nights to see us again.
How about future projects in terms of like what kind of stuff are you working on now, or what kind of things are you looking to kind of master next in your craft? Are you looking to write more? Are you looking to...
I really want to write more. I think I want to write more, and I would like to, I'm working right now on a play. That's another thing that's a passion project. So I'm like working on a play. I'd like to be in my own play too. So I'm working on that and playing in it and finding a director for that. Because I can't do everything either. Like at a certain point, like you have to join forces to harness, muster up the courage for bigger and better things. So yeah, I'm working on a play right now. I'm also writing music. I'm actually scoring my short film with Kino, the La Done film. So I'm scoring that, but it's also taking its time because music takes time. I'm not a machine. I'm not signed. I don't have a huge machine behind me telling me like this is how you do it. Like no, I'm learning as I go.
All right, you're black again. Well, I mean, you've
always been. Well, yeah, no, but
there's a blooper.
I'm black always, amen.
Amen.
Blew something up. You blew the bathroom up.
That's right. Something fell over. Never picked it up again. That's a callback. That's a callback. Is that thing still on the floor? Yeah. Whatever it is, or are you just like? What? Is that thing whatever you dropped? Is it still on the floor?
No.
All right. I wanted to get some continuity to the interview.
Drop it.
Do you want to pick that up? Whatever it was?
In no way, shape, or form. No. I'm kidding.
All right. It's dropped.
No,
it's totally dropped.
No. No, the thing that I dropped is not on the floor.
It's good to know. And I also love to know that I don't know what it was. That's really because that would be like the little bug that just sits.
I was just about to tell you. I was like,
no, don't.
Like, no,
don't tell me. It had a good clunk sound.
Never.
You refused to pick it up. You created importance. Like this is filmmaking 101, really. Like you're creating suspense in this interview, and I want to keep it. I want to keep that suspense.
My life is very suspenseful.
This is sort of an informal, sort of like interpretive film school. This is really what this is.
So. It really is, honestly. A lot of people have told me that I could be a professor, and I'm like, you know what? You're right.
You are.
I kind of already am.
You have a confidence in the way you speak. You have a certain idiosyncratic set of personality traits, which usually you find with the most fun professors. and you're super intelligent. So I can see that.
Those are all true words. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So we're going to try to wrap up this interview with a few more general things, like maybe get a little bit more background on what you do and kind of what your process or your method is. You were talking about projects and collaboration. How much of the initial seed idea, like when you either come up with an idea, like how much of that is inside of your own brain versus a collaboration? Are you more comfortable getting the ideas inside of your own head generated onto something, or are you more comfortable collaborating with people generally?
It's not a question of comfortability, it's just a question of ease. Some people are harder to deal with, and like sometimes you're like, your threshold for patience. You'll know that you want to work with somebody for 5 days versus 40. You just know it.
Yeah, that's a good
If
point.
you want to work on a 5-day, I don't know, medium, or short film, I guess, and then versus like a whole hour-and-a-half film, and I'm going to see you day in and day out for 24 months. No, thank you. You know what I mean? So you kind of already know that instinctually, and if you're not like that in tune with yourself, you're gonna know by like the 5th day. You're gonna know by like maybe the 3rd day even. So there's that. But I think it's a question. Yeah, it's a question of ease. And for me, it's easier to work on my own because I'm going at my pace, and I'm much more forgiving with myself than I am with people, I guess. Because I also make movies. I want to make movies about revenge. I would eventually like to do like a trilogy about revenge. The Revenge trilogy actually is like one of the nicest Asian films ever. I don't know which country though. I'm sorry. I thought it was Japanese or maybe.
Well, there's a Park Chan-wook did a South Korean revenge trilogy. The most famous film from it is Old Boy. Old Boy is a masterpiece.
Okay, period. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. So there's there's Old Boy. I think Old Boy's the middle one, and I think Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is the first one, and Lady Vengeance is the last one. And
Lady Vengeance is the best of all three.
Yeah, my wife's favorite is Lady Vengeance too. I mean, I can't. For me, Old Boy was my first peek into really the amazing world of South Korean like revenge cinema. Like they make some of the best thrillers like in that genre, like crime revenge thrillers, like just untouchable, unreal.
Yeah, they're absolutely unreal. So yeah.
So you want to do something? You want to do something in the similar vein? So not in the similar vein, but let's say you want to do something thematically in a
thematically, yeah. I want to do something in the theme of revenge for 3 long films. I would like that. 3, maybe an hour-and-a-half running time for all 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to do that, and that's the thing. I feel like I'm much more forgiving with myself than with others, and at the same time, like not that much. So because the way you feel about yourself will often translate to the way you feel about others. So I try to be like forgiving with myself, and it's like it's hard because I'm like, you have to push yourself. It's really weird. You have to like push yourself, and it's like you can't beat around the bush. You can't wait too long. You're gonna miss the boat.
Right. When you get into writing into a writing mode, do you have to isolate at all, or do you usually?
No, it's not isolation. Oh my god, no. You don't really have to. I mean, writing mode. Like, what do you mean? Like 4 hours, like in a day?
Like
okay,
exactly,
yeah.
But
no,
because
I
some
like
people
writing in the comfort of my home. I like writing in the comfort of my desk and my house, my office. I don't really like writing in coffee shops and stuff like that. I like working in coffee shops. I like a good espresso, good,
Sure.
good little background music, jazzy stuff. Cute.
Yeah, shout out to coffee.
Shout out to coffee. Yay, shout out to coffee. I do like to isolate for those 3-4 hours when I do write. But I mean, the process after that, like you don't have to fear. You do not fear. You can just write and then get out of that room and boom,
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, for sure. And in terms of once something is done, being written, how long does it take for you to get to the shooting kind of portion of it, and how much planning goes into that for you, or are you more of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person?
Like we're pretty fast. I think because it's like the idea is recent, the idea is hot, so you kind of want to,
Kind of
you kind of want to
catch the
make that
fire,
happen.
catch the fire in the
Catch the
lantern kind of thing.
fire.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. So I feel like that's a part of it. However, sometimes you can wait. You could wait. I mean, if you're waiting for funding, for sure, some people have to wait quite some time to be able to reserve equipment. But if you have your own resources, if you have your own abilities, I don't know, like you could buy an SD card, you could rent out a camera, you could find locations, like all these things, like those things are hard, but they're not that hard. I don't know how to say it. Like it gets harder, the more niche you're going, it gets harder the further you're going into your world building. But if you're going for something fairly easy, it gets also easier because all you need is like, sometimes the movies are at huis clos. Huis clos means like in one room or one, like, let's say an apartment, like that's it. Well, I mean, in
yeah,
that moment, like you already limit your anything displacement, stuff like that. You can just like rent out a car, find some people to move some equipment, get a
sure.
couple of lights guy. So like
Hmm.
you're not asking for a lot, but if you're doing it many locations, if you're shooting in your parking lot, let's say if you're shooting in the apartment and the parking lot, and
Yeah.
then you choose to like do tracking shots, well, it's gonna require quite a bit of things. Yeah, it's gonna
Hmm.
require a little bit of heavyweight. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And we've sort of touched in the past about funding and stuff like that. How comfortable are you to sort of like start a project, just say I'm gonna fund at least the beginning of it versus like and just get it
I
started.
haven't really applied for funding yet, so I don't really know if that applies to me yet. I haven't really applied for that because I mean my reasons are my own, and I'm able to get a camera and get able to get
Sure.
what's necessary to be able to shoot. But let's say, for example, yeah, if I wanted to make like I don't know a circus thing, I'd have to find a way to get some insurance, some permits, talk to different people of different
Hmm.
walks of life. So, yeah, I'm gonna need quite a bit of money. And for example, the CAG, like the Conseil des Arts et Billets du Québec,
Right.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Conseil des Arts du Canada, there are plenty of Fonds indépendants de production, FIP, like yeah, those are all present to help people have access to funds to move forward. Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of like some hot takes on the world of cinema as it stands today. So you're a big fan of I know you're a big fan of Christopher Nolan. I mean, like myself, I'm in that group as well. Yeah. Shout out to Christopher Nolan. That's for sure.
Shout out to Christopher Nolan. What a man. What a man. You got me zooted. What a man. Love him.
Got me
Love him.
zooted. Man,
Yeah.
I am too old to hear that word. I'm just gonna say that straight up.
That's not even, I feel like you kind of had it in '06. Like, I feel like that's a word that's been around pretty long. Zooted. This boy zooted. Like,
That's fair.
I feel like
That's
it's
fair. I hadn't hit
wrong.
30. I hadn't hit 30 by 2006 yet, so I suppose I can still qualify.
How old were you? Excuse me. How old were you?
I was 29 in
You were
2000.
29 in 2006?
Yeah.
Illegal.
Yeah, I'm old.
Why?
Why am I old? Because I was born earlier than you. That's why I'm
Why?
old.
Why are
That
old?
I can't answer. That is too metaphysical for me to answer. I'm sorry.
Why are we born when we're born?
All right. So Christopher
Yes,
Nolan,
I
and
love
big shout out to
Christopher
Christopher
Nolan.
Nolan.
We
What about
love Keanu Reeves, right? We love Keanu Reeves. We
yeah,
love Martin Scorsese. We love Denzel Washington. We love all the good stuff. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. You feel me?
yeah,
R.I.P. Shout out
R.I.P.
Viola Davis, the woman king. Period.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, listen, I'll be naming them. Shout out! Oh
Mhm.
my gosh! Shout out Angela Bassett. Oh my.
Oh, I love Angela Bassett. I've loved Angela Bassett for like 3 decades. What a woman.
What a woman! What a lady!
Hmm.
Oh, love her.
Like, do you have a hot take on some film that we can sort of just expand upon here?
Oh, that Shrek isn't good.
Shrek? You're not a fan of Shrek?
No, I love Shrek.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a controversial opinion.
Why was that also threatening as a look? I was like, no, I love Shrek.
I love Shrek.
Don't insult me, okay? That I love Shrek, okay? What did you? How dare you?
That's right. How dare you insinuate I don't like Shrek? Wow.
I looked at my face on the screen and I was like, why did I look super insulted? But yes, I no, like somebody said that Shrek wasn't good, and I was like, shut up.
Just like cease talking, please. Yeah.
I was like, enough.
Period.
You know, no, I love Shrek. I've seen all Shreks so many times.
When this became a Shrek appreciation podcast, I'll never understand, but that's okay. I'm here for it.
I feel like people don't understand the evolution of animation as well. I feel like animation is a thing that people it's kind of underrated, but also it's unknown. I've
Right.
never really met, like, I've met plenty of animators because, like, I seek out those animators. I want to watch what they're creating and keep up with their stuff. But I'm confused. I feel like people don't really take it seriously. And I'm like, well, you know, like, they're like, oh, yeah, for kids. And I'm like, no, like, this, like, a lot of movies have been really freaking good. Like, a lot of those animated manga series, whatever, like, that's, you know, in Japan, for example, it's much more popular. It's one of their main cultural things. But, like, let's say in America, we think cartoons are for kids. And it's like, no, it's not true. Like, simply not true. And then, you know, the Adult Swim, the kind of, you know, vibe where people don't, you know, they're like, oh, you must be weird for liking cartoons that are, like, not necessarily aesthetically pretty. And I'm like, that's the thing. Like we're adults. Like, go look beyond the you know the character. Look beyond the aesthetic. Look within the character. Like what they wrote for the psychological makeup of that person. So I'm like, no, like I don't get it. That's like I don't know if it's a hot take, but I feel like that's something that, you know, makes my heart sing. Where people like are legit about animation. I think that's cool.
Yeah. No,
I really like it. I think it's really interesting, and that's why I love Shrek.
Yeah. All right. And again, just not threatening, more like just a severe, you better not say the opposite sort of look.
Never, ever underestimate my love for Shrek. Oh, yes, action movies are the best movies to have sex during, you know, to put on. I have had sex on The Matrix, Transporter 1 through 3, Taken. That was really weird, but it was good. Like,
I have a very particular set of skills. There you go.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, I don't want to go too much into the mechanics of it because, you know, I am trying to keep it below an R rating. But why don't you tell me what you have identified about action movies that make them ideal for physical activity of that nature?
That's the thing. I never thought it was perfect for that. I simply noticed that was a tendency for me. Like, I don't know. Like, whenever, you know, like, I just have, like, some favorites. I have, like, a watch list like anybody else. And then... Yeah. And when, you know, when we're doing Netflix and chill, I'm like, this... You know, and it's like, okay, cool. What's up?
I just like the idea. In this example of you're trying to set the mood. And you're like, baby... Well, what I love about this interview in general is the fact that there's a lot of gold in here, but I'm mining through about like at least 65% comedy to get there.
Oh yeah, Bumblecore. I feel Bumblecore should be more popular.
Do you mean mumblecore or like is that what you mean? Like mumblecore?
Bumblecore, no Mumblecore. Yeah, sorry, Bumblecore. What am I saying? I was thinking about because I was still thinking about sex.
Oh, geez.
I'm kidding. It's just a callback to what we were just talking about. It's Mumblecore. Sorry, Mumble. I'm kidding. Yeah. But yeah, Mumblecore. I was just like, yeah, it should be more popular. I think
it should be more popular. Yeah, I love the work of Joe Swanberg. He was like one of the sort of the fathers of that sort of Midwestern mumblecore, aughts movement of films. A lot of the stuff he made, it's very slice of life. You know, like to the point where. It's obviously intentionally feels like almost like documentary style, but not quite. You know, a mumbling voice is still a voice, right? So you need to sort of allow for that.
The Too Fast, Too Furious was too long.
So it should be called Too Fast, Too Furious, Too Long. 3 2s.
Get out of here. This interview's over.
Yeah,
Stop. Too Fast, Too Furious, Too Long. That is terrible.
Look, that's my strategy, okay? If you're enjoying my company, don't worry, I'll ruin it eventually.
Don't say that. I will not allow you to say these things about yourself around me. No.
You have, especially like a lot of the times that we've talked, you use certain points. I've seen Martin Scorsese in interviews before, and I've seen how fast he speaks and how fast you speak. And, in my brain, I've done the comparison, you and Marty. You don't have Marty's eyebrows, you have his energy. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nobody has Martin Scorsese's eyebrows. They're the size of my mustache.
See, and we love him for that. Like, we respect him, we love him, we appreciate him for that.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. So, Sara-Claudia Ligondé, thank you once again for joining me. For a shout out to you for being a fantastic person, for being a wonderful creator, a good friend, a spectacular human being, a vivacious individual, and above all, an asset to this planet. We like, I'm very, very, I'm very touched that you have spent all this time, and full disclosure to the audience, this is the second attempt at this interview. So, Sara, thank you very much for being patient with me and for being so generous with your time. I love you so much as a person, and I can't wait to see you again.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you, thank you so for having me here. I'm touched. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here, to be able to share and talk about filmmaking and talk about my, I guess, profession, which I don't know why I sound like that, but I'm just like, yeah, my profession. But no, but that's the thing about art.
It is a profession, yeah.
And yeah, this is the second time that we do this, but I feel like we could do this 15 more times, and we'll always have just as much fun.
Well, who knows? Maybe from this a new sort of serial will emerge, and maybe we'll just we'll kind of take your hot takes, and every time I will. But we just keep doing this as a series of me trying to do the same interview every single time, and us going in many different directions every single time. I think that would make for good.
Yeah,
content.
Specifically for the hot takes. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.